By the way, the Robinhood stocks you have, what have you invested into?
So I invested into, hold on, let me just bring it up real quick. Um, I invested into Bitcoin. I made money off of that. Tilray, some wheat stocks. Dave and Buster's, which was making me a lot of money. And AMC. AMC was a sleeper. A lot of people thought it would be down, and I just went with my own gut because I'm like, no, based off of social media and everything, a lot of people want to return to these movie theaters when it eventually opens, if it stays
Mm-hmm.
afoot, and then it starts spiking up again. So a lot of stocks I've been investing in have been like really good stocks, and I'm up within my Robinhood portfolio.
How much money do you have in there?
In total, I
Yeah.
have without including the current investments, it's a $4,400. So that's with the investments included. If I were to sell everything, 4,400
And how much
roughly.
do you have in your M1? Like for your normal
And
investments?
for my M1, I have uh, this one is it was opened somewhat recently. I have $730, and it's your exact portfolio. I just copied it over and everything.
Okay. Now, here's what this sounds like, right? It sounds like you're bad and heavy on a lot of speculation. Now, speculation versus investing. Investing is investing, knowing the facts, right? The facts are, what are the financials of this company? Yes, for example, AMC is a company, Dave and Buster's is a company, Bitcoin is like this whole thing. People are gassing it up right now, but the whole thing, do you have facts, right? Financials. Can you analyze the company's intrinsic value? Look at its 10K forms, 10Q forms. If the answer is no to those questions, then usually what you're doing is speculating. Now, nothing wrong with speculating as long as you're following, for example, the 90-10 rule. Meaning, I can put 10% of my money towards having fun. If something happens, great. If I lose it, no problem. But the other 9%
Mm-hmm.
should be going, for example, for your retirement or for just like invest into the things you do understand, like basically like ETFs and so on. But Bitcoin, Dave and Buster's, AMC. It sounds like I checked social media. I had a gut feeling that sounds like speculation because it could go the other way. It happens to be that this time it went your way, so you're kind of like high on that boat, and I would be too. but you want to be careful.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And to be honest, I've been through your video recommendation, I've been reading the little book of common sense investing, and that put
Yeah,
me up on a lot of game about, hey, like, stick to the winning strategy and
yeah.
shy away from that. So my current Robinhood investments has been a few months ago where that those investments were made a few months ago, but
Yeah.
I haven't put in any new recent money into it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Now you have two options here with this money that's in Robinhood, right? You can either keep it and consider it speculation money, so you can lose 100% of it, or you can make a lot of money. Nobody knows what happened there. It's like a big risk. Nobody knows, right? Or you can take
Mm-hmm.
that money out and just put that money, for example, into your ETF portfolio or whatever you want to do. However, if you have that money in there and you want to have fun with it, I don't mind. Like have fun with that money, $4,400, but you should be, for example, grabbing the bulk of your money and invest in it. Of course, after you're done with all the debt that you have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay,
by
no, that makes a. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
No, I was gonna say that makes a lot of sense, and it sounds like so. Um, uh, do you think it'd just be a bit more wise because I definitely want to keep the money I have invested in Bitcoin because based off of you and other people's videos and just a bit of research I've done on it, I do see it going up. So I definitely do want to keep like and not sell my current Bitcoin investments. But
Mm-hmm.
for some of the other investments I have, do you think it would make more sense to just kind of liquidate that money and then put it into my current Roth IRA with M1 Finance?
Yeah. Here's what I'll tell you. I can't tell you what to do with your money or what to sell or not to sell, right? Because sometimes things go good, sometimes things go bad. But here's what I would
Mm-hmm.
do with that money, right? It have for example $4,400 that I'm just gonna be having. By the way, you make a decent amount of money. Like $3,000 is a lot of money in New Jersey anywhere. $3,000 is a lot of money. Your expenses are pretty low also, right? So if you're making that much
Mm-hmm.
money, the answer is if you want to have fun with $4,400 and keep it in there and speculate, no problem. My thing is if you're doing that, don't put any more money into it and just focus, for
Mm-hmm.
example, on building up your Roth IRA and, for example, like your normal taxable accounts, whatever you want to do. So I'm not saying, by the way, Bitcoin in a way is like this game, right? It's a game of I'm buying, hoping that the next guy pays more for it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like if the other guy doesn't pay more for it and there's no new money introduced to it, then what happens then? If people start, for example, selling like crazy, the whole thing drops. And then what I don't want is basically, hey, my name is Ray. I put a lot of money into this stuff. Now I'm gone. Okay, I lost everything. I don't know what to do now. I'm homeless. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind though if you have money in that stuff, but you're basically investing over 90% of your money, for example, into things you do understand. And if you read that book, the little book about common sense investing, it'll teach you a lot more just about index funds and why they're actually the best strategy. Because people that are picking stocks, usually they're not winning. It just happens to be that we're in a kind of like in a little section of history where people are making a lot of money with speculation, just like it happened in the past before. Like, okay, like the whole like roaring 20s or whatever, people make a lot of money. But when things are going good, everyone thinks it's gonna last forever until things don't last forever.
No, absolutely. And I really love how, and thank you again for that recommendation. I love how they're drilling that home and saying, like, hey, don't take my word for it, and just giving a bunch of different other
Yeah,
people of like the financial goals of don't try to find the needle in the haystack, just
yeah.
buy the haystack.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? There are people that can pick stocks, right? Like Warren Buffett is a big example of it. Peter Lynch, another great example. But investing into stocks, individual stocks, is not a part-time gig. It's a full-time gig, right? You have to be, and it's boring too. It's very boring, by the way, because you're just reading financial statements all the time. It's boring for some people. So if you want to do that, that's fine. You can do that. But if you're gonna be working your normal job and you just want to retire with a lot of money and build financial freedom, usually that's not what you want to get into. And me right now, currently, I only made I only bought one stock in 2020, and that was Delta, and I'm up like around 128%. I'm not gonna sell,
Hmm.
but neither am I gonna go ahead and say, you know what, I'm gonna take on investing like full time now. That's not my plan. So I have over two, three, like $100,000 invested, for example, into ETFs, and then I have like this small chunk of money right here into Delta. Kind of the same advice I'm giving you, okay? Because basically, you right now you're kind of like opposite, right? You have a lot of money into like individual like investments, and then a little bit of money into retirement. But as you keep investing more and more into your future, it'll be the opposite. Eventually, by the end of the year, you'll have it's $6,000 right now for a Roth IRA. You can max it out to $6,000. You can have that money. Also, your brokerage account have that money, and then your little position in the individual investments are going to be lower and lower and lower. But you'll keep growing and growing and growing. Does that make sense?
No, it really does. And just to clarify again, so for with your accounts, of course, you have your Roth IRA that you max out.
I don't qualify for a Roth IRA. I can't have a Roth IRA. I
Or
make too much
excuse me.
money.
Okay. I have a Roth IRA that I want to max out
Mm-hmm.
6K.
6K.
And then and also in M1 Finance, it's recommended to have another account where I'm pretty much investing into the same type of portfolio that's in my Roth IRA.
Yeah.
It's the one I
Okay.
copied from you.
Here's a clarification there. Here it is right here. Nice question, by the way. Usually, what I recommend is this: if you have an employer that's giving you an employer match, free money, right?
Hmm.
The idea is you
Yep.
want to take advantage of that first, right? You invest as most money as possible to get all the free money they're going to give you. Don't max it out, just get the free money. Once you have that
Hmm.
free money, okay, that's taken care of, free money, you go ahead and you max out, for example, your Roth IRA. That's $6,000. All that money that builds up in there is going to be yours. No tax, because basically you already paid the taxes beforehand. And then
Hmm.
if you have any more money left over, you can grab that money and invest it, for example, into a normal taxable brokerage account with the same idea, the same concept. And then if you want to go even more crazy, you can say, hey, you know what? I want to invest into real estate also. And like follow the same strategy, even into real estate. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go into crazy debt with this stuff. Just like take it step by step, step by step.